Good morning, everybody. It's time for another episode of What's in the Box, and today I bring to you a new kit, new tool just released from Airfix. I've done a few this year from Airfix, and I'm delighted to bring this to you today. Now, what I have for you is the just released 1/72nd scale Dornier Do17z. I've been waiting on this kit all year. My good friend Hamilcar Barkus, Michael, how's it going? Is aware of that. So is Carlos Mendez. Hello, Carlos. And Shane. I've been talking about this for a long time. I've had it on pre-order forever. It's still not available in the United States. Not sure why. I had to buy my example from a UK dealer, which I was happy to do. And I paid a bit of a premium for it because I paid about $41 or $42 US for it, which is way too much in my opinion. But I bought it because I wanted to share it with you guys. I wanted you guys to be able to see that. So please keep that in mind. And it's a smallish box. I was surprised. So, it is 1/72nd scale, but it's a twin-engine bomber. Now, a couple of things I do want to say about the Dornier 17Z. I don't know why they say the DO, because DO is an abbreviation for Dornier. So that would be Dornier 17Z. Don't quite understand why everyone does that, but they do. But no complaints. I think we all understand what it is. So this was an early war bomber for the Germans. It was developed in the early 1930s. And it was part of the whole Schnellbomber campaign, which means fast bomber in English. The idea was that these things would be so fast they could outrun the fighters. And as we all know, that just was not the case. That just didn't happen that way. The aircraft had a top speed of, I think, 217 or 218 miles an hour, which is nowhere near fast enough to even outrun a Hurricane. So these things were swatted from the sky. That being said, it's still my favorite World War II German bomber. Why? Because it's an absolutely beautiful, elegant design. The airframe is gorgeous. Now, the German air crews had a nickname for this airplane. They called it the Fliegende Bleistift, which in English means the flying pencil. And that's because of the long, tapering, thin fuselage, and it had a twin tail boom design. It was originally equipped with Bramo radial engines, and there are some subsequent variants that had inline piston engines, but by and large, the Bramos were used in large scale. Now, this aircraft was taken out of mainline service by early 1942, was already deemed obsolescent, but it did serve in training and reconnaissance roles throughout the end of the war. And there are sadly no remaining examples left. The Finns had some versions of this that were given to them by the Germans. They scrapped their last model in 1956, I believe I read. And, of course, you may be aware of, recently the Brits pulled one of these out of the channel, and they're in the process of restoring it. So that would be really cool to see what happens with that. So that's enough background information. Let's get into the kit and the plastic. So typical Airfix artwork. It's actually a beautiful picture. I wouldn't mind having a larger picture of this to have on my wall. Of course, it's a Battle of Britain aircraft. On the side, we have some 3D CAD images of the bomber. And then on this side, we have some pictures of course, this is upside down, some pictures of, variants that are available in a kit and some brief background history as well. And this would be, how many points? Yeah, 2 flying hours if you're part of that Airfix club, which I am not, which I probably should be. So the box contents, what do we have? I've got decals, which we will get to, the instruction booklet, stenciling data on a separate sheet, which is kind of cool, of course, Airfix Club information, and the sprues. So, let's go ahead and set this aside. Now, all of these come in one bag. It would be nice if they did these in separate bags, but, what do you say about that? At least it's in a bag. Some of the older Zvezda kits, as we know, don't come in a bag at all. Let's take a brief look at the instructions. Looks to be about a 8.5 by 12 sheet layout. And these are a little different than the Airfix instructions I have seen in the past. And of course, we have safety information and background information here in English, French, German, Spanish, and Swedish. Here's all of your, key call-outs. You're, calling out multiple pieces of steps to perform, need to drill, need to cut this, blah, 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 blah. Some safety information like don't eat your model, don't make love to your model, that sort of thing. Now, please pay close attention to the quality of the pictograph style instructions. And guys, I gotta say, Airfix, way to go. I love this. And the red sections denote do not submit, which is really nice to call that out. And I can't, of course, attest for the fit of this kit. It's a new tool. We know all that Airfix has definitely made a step in an improvement. Most of their new tool stuff has been pretty good. Like I said, I haven't built this thing. Don't know when I'll build it, and no time soon. But it is a new tool kit, so that will ultimately, of course, be up to you guys to get out there and build it. And let me know, those of you who get around to building it. But yeah, these beautiful pictograph style instructions. 3D style rendered. These are some of the best looking instructions I've seen. From ease of understanding, ease of assembly, this is certainly it. And it looks to be about a typical aircraft installation with some really nice detail that we'll be showing on the plastic parts here in just a moment. So here we go through construction of the engine. So yes, they supply complete engines for both nacelles. Another bonus from Airfix. Quite a few steps in this build, so this is not going to be a simple build. There are quite a few parts to this kit, even though it is a 1/72nd scale model. It also comes with the ordnance, and my understanding is it's got several loadouts in ordnance. I think the bomb load was 2,100 or 2,200 kilograms. But really, all in all, guys, I think you would agree that these instructions look really nice. Now, the last sheet is the color callouts. And there are basically two versions available inside the kit, and that is Kampfgeschwader Do17z, or Hunting Squadron would be the English translation, directly translated 77, in northern France in July 1940, so that's definitely going to be a Battle of Britain vehicle, more than likely. And then we have one, this was actually interesting, this is Croatian Volunteers of Kampfgeschwader 53. 53, Hunting Squadron 53, Eastern Front 1941. So this is going to be an early, Barbarossa vehicle. And, of course, as with most early war Luftwaffe vehicles, so we're talking about, Hellblau, light blue, RLM was at 65 on the bottom, and then the splinter pattern on the top. So that's kind of standard of early war Luftwaffe camo. Let's take a look at the plastic, because that's what this is all about, and that's what you guys want to see, right? So let me go ahead and get into this and open the bag. I'm going to examine these sprues for you in no certain order. Oops, there's a loose part there. Looks like that's off one of the, let's see, their landing gear wheel bay, or it's a small sprue of clear parts. And we have here on the first sprue, and there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 sprues of opaque parts. And here, of course, we have what appears to be the lower wing halves, some inside cockpit instrumentation and detail, and this looks really nice. Now, of course, since it's a new tool kit, I think it comes to be expected. It's going to have recessed panel lines. The recessed panel lines look really nice. I will say this, they are a bit big, in my opinion, almost trough-like. Now, that does mean, however, that it would take a wash nicely, and if you're looking for that effect, if you're using a clay wash like from Flooring Models or a UMP product, or if you're using like the Tamiya panel line accentuator, or just a traditional oil paint wash, I mean, it's going to take it nicely. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see these parts. Some nice ribbing detail on the inside of these. Now, I don't know if this could be the upper wing, but I don't think so. But nice ribbing detail here for where the landing gear bay and engine nacelles are going to go. Some good looking cockpit instrumentation detail. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other side of these parts. You'll notice that there is some detail actually in quite a few of these. There are some ejector pin marks here, for example. But I don't know if that's going to be an issue after it's assembled, whether or not it's going to be visible. So there's that sprue. Let's take a look at the next sprue. Now this one is definitely filigree. Here we have the propellers and the crew. There are actually 4 crew figures included with this kit. Now here we have the ordnance. These look like the smaller 250 kilogram bombs. I forget what they call those. And we have trim wheel, seats for the crew. Lots of little filigree, what appears to be ladders in and out of the vehicle. The MG-17 machine guns with the saddle drums attached. Let you guys take a look at that. Nice ribbing detail along this part here as well. These arms are separate for these figures, which is interesting. There are some larger 500 kilogram bombs included as well. The propeller spinners. In 70-second scale, I have to admit, this is a pretty nice looking detail. So there's that sprue. Let's take a look at the next one. Now here we have more of the business of the aircraft. We have fuselage halves. We have instrument panel detail and engine detail. I've got parts for the engine cowlings here. You'll notice that. And you'll notice the very nicely rendered airframe detail for the fuselage. That's nice. And here we have cockpit firewall panels. Here they're nice. Steering yokes. Wow, they've done that. Now look at the detail on this little part here. This is going to be instrumentation in the cockpit. I'm really impressed with this. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and let you see that a little better. Oops. If I could point your attention right here and here, the detail in this is first rate. And remember, this is a 1/72nd scale kit, and you can see how nice these panel lines are. They look fantastic. Let's turn this over so you can see a look at the other side. Some nice ribbing detail on the inside of this. So some of this may or may not be visible. Like I said, there are some ejector pin marks visible here. Now, whether or not that's going to be an issue for the assembly of the kit, I honestly don't know. I didn't study the instructions that closely. Now, here we have the last sprue of the opaque plastic. And we got landing gear struts, engine cowling covers, and look at this, guys, weighted wheels. That's another bonus. Thank you, Airfix, for doing that. More engine detail, more seats for the crew, and a really beautiful looking set. This has got to be the top part of the wing. Yeah, this has got to be the top. Once again, some gorgeous recessed panel lines. Like I said, a little trough-ish, but I think they're going to look fine once the kit's assembled. Overall, I got to say I'm pretty pleased with the kit. And now in the UK, the price on the box from the UK, by the way, for you guys who live in Great Britain, was £17 sterling, which is, I think, pretty reasonable considering it's a new kit, and we don't see a lot of models of this subject, which I was glad to see. So there's that. That was the last sprue of the non-clear parts, and here we have the clear sprue. Let's take a quick look. Now this thing's going to have quite a bit of greenhouse, so there's masking skills will be challenged here. That's I think goes without saying. Now you could probably attempt to mask this yourself, but I would recommend that you might consider once Eduard comes out with a pre-cut masking set that you'd probably consider that. The parts, though, are very clear, very shiny. There is really not very much lensing effect, not distortion of much. They're a little thick, but it's 1/72nd scale, so what do you expect? But all in all, I think they look really nice. I think you guys can see these in pretty good detail. Let me zoom in just a little bit more for you. So you can take a look at the clear parts here. They look pretty good. Pretty good. No complaints there. So that was the clear sprue. The last thing I have to show you would be the decals. And I got to tell you, these Airfix decals I've seen here recently look really, really nice. And here we have the two, of course, obviously the two versions. There's a ton of stenciling data, of course, here. And the Balkenkreuzes. There's a decal for the instrument panel, as you can see here. They're all beautifully in register. Of course, there are no swastikas. I think that's no surprise. There are plenty of aftermarket swastikas available, though. There would be one on each tail section, and you would need one for that as well. But they look great. They're, like I said, they're beautifully registered. Let me just zoom in briefly so you guys take a quick closer look at the quality of the decals, and I don't think you'd be disappointed in that at all. So what do I have to say about the kit? Overall, just in the cursory examination, I think it's a nice looking kit. It's a new tool, which is a bonus, and it is of a somewhat interesting subject because you don't see a lot of models. There's an older Matchbox version of this kit, which Airfix and Revel both have repopped many times. But to have an all new tool, design version of this aircraft, my favorite bomber. Oops, sorry. I can't complain. I would recommend it certainly for the price. And I think once it becomes available in the U.S., it should be about $25, maybe $27, which is about right. But guys, consider it. And thank you for watching. And I hope everyone has a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.